Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Last week I shared with you how to make a facial bar of soap using rice milk. This week I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a rice milk infused gentle body wash. Like we discussed last week, rice is very good for overall skincare. So it helps to brighten your complexion, even out skin tone. It's very hydrating and it's a really gentle exfoliant. Something about washing with all kinds of milks too, like I've used all kinds of milks in different applications like bar soaps and powdered goat's milk and things like that, and body washes and bubble baths. Something about it feels very luxurious, and I think it also enhances the bubbles, which I really like in a formula. So in this video today, I'm going to be going over my full visual process, step-by-step and tutorial of how to put together this decadent and soothing rice-infused body wash. And if you would like the full recipe with percentages and a full detailed step-by-step tutorial, please head on over to my Patreon campaign. This one will be available at just the $5 level. If you haven't had a chance to check out my campaign yet, I really hope that you will. I'll go ahead and place the link in the description box below. Over there, not only will you be able to access today's formula, but you can access hundreds of recipes and tutorials just at the $5 level. There are 6 tiers over there, each with their own unique benefits. So again, I hope that you'll go and check it out, see which one you like the best, and see the wonderful community that we've built over there. It's a great way to connect with me and other makers. Also, upon sign up, we are still offering coupon codes to my favorite suppliers like makesea.com and onlinelabels.com, making your sign up really well worth it. All right, let's get started. All right, so this is a pretty simple formula to put together. There's only a phase A and a phase B, and it's totally cold process, meaning we don't have to heat anything up or melt anything down. So we're going to start off by weighing the phase A ingredients out into this large beaker. We're making 500 grams today. So the first thing I'm going to weigh off is some organic rice milk. Now this is in place of any other liquid in our formula, meaning we're not using any distilled water or hydrosols. We're using all rice milk in place of any water or hydrosols. So we're going to go ahead and weigh this off. Just make sure you're using a high quality organic rice milk with minimal ingredients for this part. All right, the next ingredient we're going to be weighing off is some vegetable glycerin. We're using quite a bit of glycerin in this formula just to make it really hydrating and conditioning feeling. This is going to be a very non-drying formula, so we'll get into all that as we move along as well, but I'm using quite a bit of glycerin just to make this feel conditioning and hydrating. It'll also help to enhance the bubbles and lather in this formula. Next, we're going to be weighing off some polyquaternium 7. Now we're using this ingredient to help the skin feel of the body wash. So sometimes body washes can feel really good, but then when they rinse off, they can feel a little bit maybe chalky or drying. So glycerin, polyquaternium 7, and other ingredients you can add to your body washes to make them feel silky and have really nice glide. And when they rinse off, they feel conditioning and more, I don't know, hydrating and kind of gel or lotion like, just making it feel really good when it rinses off. Polyquaternium 7 is an inexpensive ingredient to have around, and I think it makes a big difference. A small amount makes a big difference in your overall formula. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in some lamesoft Pro. This is also an ingredient that really helps with the skin feel. So this is going to help it feel luxurious, silky, and also more conditioned. So you have to add some refatting agents in. Usually with a formula like this, which is going to have some surfactants in it, you want to add some refatting agents in it just to make it feel very good on the skin. So lamesoft Pro is another example of something that's going to help increase the nice skin feel in this formula. All right, and for this lamesoft Pro, we're going to be weighing it out into this little container here because we're using such a small amount. It's easier to weigh it on my smaller scale here. So we're just going to go ahead and this is another one where you don't need a lot to make a big difference in your body washes, shower gels. Also, this is used in shampoos a lot. This is great in a shampoo formula. All right, we're just going to go ahead and place this right inside our formula here. Give it a good mix. Next up, we're going to be adding in a series of botanicals. Now, something that I've noticed when I've made this formula before, I have experimented with different botanicals in this formula, different botanical extracts in this formula. And if you want your formula to stay bright white like this, which is kind of important to me when you're making something like a rice milk body wash, to me, I just envision it being a bright white formula. So I have made this in the past with some other botanicals that were darker in nature, darker in color, and so it tinted my overall body wash to more of an off-white, almost tan color, which it still works and smells lovely. It's just not that bright white color that I was really going for. So I have switched up my botanicals this time around to really just include botanicals that are real light in color and or like watercolor, just water white, so that we don't compete with this nice color that we have going on here. But also we're adding some nice botanicals extracts to this formula. So just be careful with that. If you do sub out the botanicals in this formula, you may want to consider that not all of them are going to keep this formula a bright white color. So I have chosen calendula extract. This is going to be great for its soothing properties. I have chosen some green tea extract for its antioxidants, and then some reishi mushroom extract for its vitamins and minerals. These are all light colored extracts as well, and they are all water soluble. I've got these two at Brambleberry, the green tea and the mushroom, and I got the calendula at Formulator Sample Shop. So we're going to go ahead and add in, it may change the color slightly here, but we are going to do our best to keep this as white as possible. So in goes the calendula. Next, we're going to go ahead and place in the reishi mushroom. There we go. And then last in, we're going to be adding in the green tea extract. Okay, I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir just to make sure I get all of those extracts nice and combined. And as you can see, we still have a nice bright white formula that we're working with. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add in my essential oil blend. My essential oil blend is going to be the same blend that I used last week. I'm really liking it, and it just seems to go really nicely with this formula. So we're going to be using a little bit of rosemary essential oil and also lavender essential oil. This is lavender 4042 and rosemary essential oil, both by Brambleberry. I really do like the Brambleberry fragrance oils. They just seem to be very high quality in my opinion. They always work really great for me in body washes and cold processed soap. So we're going to go ahead and add in our lavender. So because we're using a small amount here, again, we're just putting this back on the small scale. I just love this lavender 4042. I think it smells so good. It sticks really nicely into the products as well. And then we'll go in with the rosemary. All right. So a little thing that I learned not too long ago is if you have just essential oils like this and you try to add in liquid germall plus to the same container of just essential oils, the liquid germall plus kind of solidifies and will not dissolve back down. So don't add your liquid germall plus straight to your essential oils. It doesn't work properly. So all I'm going to do now is go ahead and put this in. Then I'll weigh off my preservative just to make sure we are not having that issue with the preservative solidifying. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a stir. All right, so we're using Liquid Germall Plus here for a couple of reasons. It is a really good preservative for watery based formulas like this. It's broad spectrum as well, so it goes through a range of pHs. So we're gonna go ahead and add in our preservative. And now what we can do, it's got a very like glycerin-like type consistency to it. So I want to make sure we're picking it all up off the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here a little bit, some of my formula. Give it a good mix. This way I'm picking up all the product off the bottom of the container here. Pre-dissolving it. And then we're just simply adding it back into the main formula here. All right, giving this another stir. This is lovely. So next we're entering into phase B. By the way, this could also be used on your face. It is gentle enough to use on your face and your body. And it just smells so bright and fresh and really, really gorgeous. So phase B is just going to include our surfactants. The surfactants are what's going to help this formula create lather and foam and also give it its cleansing properties. We're not using a whole lot of surfactants today. The amount is overall lower than I would normally kind of use in a body wash or shower gel formula. And the reason for that is I just wanted this to be a very gentle, hydrating, non-drying formula. So the first surfactant we're going to be weighing off is some cocoamidopropyl betaine. Cocoamidopropyl betaine is a super gentle plant-based surfactant made from coconuts. It has a really good foam and lather to it as well. If you're new to using surfactants, I hope that you'll visit some of my older shower gel videos where I've used surfactants because I talk a lot about compatibility. You can't just throw any surfactants together. They're not all compatible. So the next surfactant we're going to be adding in is some decyl glucoside. This is also a super gentle, this is considered very, very gentle for your eyes and around your face as well. Plant-based surfactant. We're going to go ahead and add in some decyl glucoside. Now, just so that you know, I have experimented with, in place of the decyl glucoside, I have experimented with some foaming silk, which made a very luxurious end product, but it's one of those things again where the foaming silk has a dark amber color, so it will change your formula to a light tan if you use it, but it did make my formula feel super decadent. Okay, next we're going to be adding in the last surfactant here, and that is going to be some foaming oats. Now I'm using foaming oats because they're, again, super gentle. They've got a low foam and lather. It's a surfactant made from oats. So we're just going to go ahead and give this a gentle stir. Now that our surfactants are introduced into the product here, you have to be careful not to stir too vigorously or you will kick up a lot of bubbles that will take a long time to kind of settle out. So we've got this beautiful milky white colored body wash, and I'm just slowly stirring in the surfactants to incorporate them into the formula. I've also tried this as a foaming body wash, the kind that you use in like a foaming bottle like this. And I think the rice milk, it's not water thin, and it just makes it a little bit too thick for a formula like that. So I guess if you wanted to cut your rice milk and make this formula thinner, you could cut it with distilled water, but then you would have less rice. You could experiment with this formula to work in a foaming bottle, but as it is, it's too thick. Okay, so once the surfactants are blended in, there is one other step. I'm going to use some liquid crothix to go ahead and thicken this up. And I'm going to show you an optional step, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. This is an optional step if you want. I like it when my body washes that are white like this have a little bit of pearlescent effect to them. So I'm going to be using this bubble wash pearlerizer. This is from Crafter's Choice Wholesale Supplies Plus. This is an as needed or as desired type product. So you just add in a little bit at a time until you get the desired effect. I'm not sure how well the camera will pick up this effect, but all I'm doing is adding a little bit of white pearlescent effect to this. It'll make it look a little bit more opaque and it'll give it a little bit of a pearlescent sheen. So again, you just mix and mix until you get it all mixed in. That takes a little bit to dissolve it. And then if you would like to add more, you totally can. So that looks really pretty to me. I think I'm just going to add a tiny bit more. All right, now that the pearlerizer is all incorporated in, the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and thicken up this formula to more of a body wash type. I'm going to be putting these into some pump bottles. So I want it to not be so thick that it can't come out of a pump, but thicker than it is now. A little bit of liquid crothix goes a long way in this formula. So start with just a little bit and it will give it some nice viscosity. This is again like this liquid crothix is an as desired type product to bring it up to the type of viscosity and thickness that you desire. So yeah, again, in this formula, liquid crothix goes pretty far. A little bit goes a long way. The thing you have to be careful with liquid crothix is you have to make sure you fully incorporate it before you add more. It does tend to thicken up a little bit over the course of a few minutes, so just make sure it's fully incorporated before adding in more. Because if you get it too thick, it's really hard to kind of thin out a formula after that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit more and I'll bring you right back when I've got it to my desired viscosity. All right, so I've gotten it to my desired viscosity here. It's like kind of like the consistency of a runny honey, and it will probably thin out just a little bit over the next 24 hours because I have incorporated some bubbles while stirring a little bit here. So it will thin out just a little bit just based on my previous batches of this. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour it into these Boston Round. I've put a little pump cap with these. These caps were purchased from another place. These weren't all purchased together. They just happened to fit. So anyway, I'm using these little Boston Round with some pump lids that I had sitting around from another project. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. And if you're wondering, the pH of this formula is right around a 6.7, which I'm okay with. If you wanted to lower it a little bit, you certainly can add a little bit of citric acid to bring it down to a 5 or a 5.5 if you wanted. It's not necessary, but you can. All right. And then we're just going to go ahead and place the lids on. These hold about 9 ounces a piece with this pump lid. It's got a little bit of bubbles rising to the top now. That's okay. All right. And there you have it. We just made a beautiful rice milk, luxurious body and facial wash. Stick around and I'll give you a little bit of a use demo. All right, so this is what it looks like. I just wanted to give you a little comparison here of what it looks like when you use foaming silk instead of decyl glucoside, and also botanicals with a little bit darker of a color. So not totally a big deal. It just turns out to be a light tan color versus a bright white. And visually, I think this looks a little bit prettier, just in my opinion. Although this still works and feels really, really good. Sometimes I like to envision my products in a fancy hotel somewhere, and I think this would be a perfect body wash to have in a fancy hotel. Also, the formula that I shared last week with the rice milk bar of soap, they just look like they have that vibe, that clean, kind of beautiful, luxurious vibe going on. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a use demo. Now I'm using a loofah here because this is how I would use it in the shower, but I can show you a little bit just on my hands as well. We're just going to pump some into this loofah. Comes out of the pump perfectly. Giving this a little bit of a working in some water into this loofah, just working up a lather. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. I love the combination of lavender and rosemary. It's so good. So the lather feels super creamy, dense, decadent, hydrating, and luxurious. Super beautiful. So I am loving this formula. Can't wait to share it with you all. All right, now I can show you what it looks like just to work it up in my hands. And it does make quite a beautiful lather just like on its own. Being that there's not such a high surfactant matter in here, it does make a pretty good lather. So in your hands, it makes a nice, low, creamy, hydrating, and decadent feeling lather. So that's what it looks like in your hands. In my opinion, it's just exactly where I'd want it to be. It's a really, really nice formula. Well, all right, everyone, that's how you make a beautiful and decadent rice and milk infused facial and body wash. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Please leave me some questions and comments below. That really means a lot to me. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everyone, catch you on the next video. Bye. Keep shining.